So welcome to the second semi-final on my Nomad only tournament. Have a look at the rules over here. No villager fighting allowed before minute 5. That's just to ensure that the TC will go up and these kinds of things. The players have random civs, and for the next game, the loser's home map, the civs will be reversed. So you have Dave's versus the Sonder here with some pretty incredible random civs for Nomad, honestly. You have Chinese that once the town center goes up, you are granted 3 villagers instantly. So you have a total of 6 villagers. That's going to give you a good boost early on. And then we have Dave's with Mongols, which who do have a hunting bonus. They collect hunt 40% faster. And when you have a TC here, right next to a woodline, as is customary, and have the boars and deer so close, or ibex rather, you're looking at a nice setup for a good early economy here. Not to mention that you could be... you can get some income from the fish as well. You see Davis is taking the shore fish here and is docked near the south side with an ample supply of deep sea fish to be taken here. The TCs are up, at least the Dave's. Sonder is right behind, so he's actually going to fall slightly behind in the villagers production here. There we go, but that's not really going to matter as long as the Sonder finds a food source, and he has that right next to his TC, just going straight for a long distance hunt. Will need to force drop off a little bit here to be able to get the production fluent and going here, but for Chinese, having this easy access to food is just fantastic, but you are granted 3 villagers that you don't need to produce or spend resources making. There we go, there's the force drop, enough to get 1 villager going. Probably we'll be seeing the next villager going to food as well, unless Sonder trusts his fishing income. Actually, Sonder is actually delaying the dock here because he is probably because it's Chinese and he found a TC spot close to the shoreline. So Chinese also start with a slightly little bit less wood, and you need wood for the houses as well as we go on. So there's probably a reason behind that. So the villager counts have actually been evened out here, and Dave's now with the fishing ships in production, their first fishing ships. Dave's is off to a good start here, it seems. Both players with somewhat consistent production. Dave's actually seems to be struggling a little bit for food here because he's not queuing villagers at the moment. Yeah, he's having a lot of idle time here actually. So maybe not so good start for Mongols after all. Alright, but for the sake of progress, I'm going to fast forward a little bit here this match. We see the players are pretty close. TC is like within 20 and 30 tiles of each other. It could be a fight for resources in the middle here. I like Sonder's position more though, because you can't really deny Sonder off gold easily, as a gold in the back here, gold here, front-ish gold here, and then some stones as well if the need for towers arises. I like Sonder scouting more here. He's been using the sheep to the best of his ability to find the location of the enemy, most likely over here, and just a general grasp of where the resources are when or if you need to relocate. And for sure you will expand as the game moves on to have access to more of the resources around the map. Now in Dave's case, there is some golds and stones here near the TC as well, which is good, and then there's golds and stones over here that Dave's could expand to as the game moves on. Mongols player goes up to the next stage first as well, with 23 villagers total. That would be 5 fish and the rest villagers on land here. Sonder not far behind at all, going up with 22 population though, so actually going up with 1 less. 4 on gold for Daves, albeit 1 very weak here. Also going pretty heavily on the tower stone, likely with the ambition of... wait, that's Sonder, sorry. Confusing the players here, the colors. Sonder is going heavily on stone and wants to go for an early towers push here on Daves, I believe, because Sonder should know the location of the town center of Daves here, and here comes the first tower right on the wood line. On the other hand, we have Daves going for double dock galley production, fire galley. So Daves wants to contest water here. He's spending wood and gold to go into galleys on water, and will need to come up with some kind of response on land here as well, because now we have 2 towers going up and Dave's actually not seeing it. So this is huge. Both towers will go up here, and there's not much Dave's can do about it. Daves doesn't seem too stressed out though. He relocates to woodland a little bit to the left here and out of tower range. Nothing is to stop Sonder from dropping another tower though. He's with consistently mining stone here, 4 on stone, and is in a position to go for another tower, which might force Daves to relocate yet again. It's just so perfectly placed in the middle of the fog of war here for the Sonder. Meanwhile, they have some fire galleys harassing the water situation a bit here. Daves is going for the dock, knows the location of Sonder by now, and will cripple Sonder's economy on water for sure, because Sonder, not really in a great spot to invest on water, isn't on gold at all for the moment. So here that Daves is struggling for wood, is being kept off wood here near the TC, needs to relocate again, drop some new lumber camp, and might even drop another one further away now just to force Sonder to extend this forward. Sonder is committing 3 villagers to the towers and 4 to stone, so that should also delay Sonder's progress through the ages significantly. Looking at the food count though, it's not too bad for Sonder, but he hasn't mined gold yet, so it's still going to take a little while to get to the resources needed to go up. Sonder for now is giving up on water. He was later to the next stage after all, and with only 1 dock against 2, I think Sonder sees it as a positive thing that the opponent is investing rather heavily into water, because that's lots of wood and gold that Sonder hasn't spent. Losing villagers, of course. Sonder is down 7 villagers now, but still arguably with a healthier eco behind everything here. Daves with the defensive tower here now has gone to stone down here, or is going to go to stone to be able to put down more defensive towers here. Also, it's never a bad idea for Mongols to have stone income, because you want to get to the Mangudai later on, especially on the map on like Nomad, where mobility and expansion and map control is just key to everything. So even if you have to mine stone for some defensive towers, you could always put that into use later. Bit of a boxing fight going on here with towers and builders and everything. You'd think they were almost Incas at work here. But here comes the market from days. Is going to adjust this gold situation here into food, or we don't want. He built the villager in, but only tapped the palisade like once. Yeah. Fletching for the Sonder. What's the situation for Mongol and Daves? Not really. I like Dave's overall economic situation here, though. Is very close to that Castle Age click. Has the buildings soon. And only needs the blacksmith now, and then we'll go up to the Castle Age for Dave's. Sonder already on the way though. So the Chinese player could be looking at thinking about the water comeback. I'm not sure why he's repairing the dock over here rather than trying to relocate and re-establish the water situation somewhere else. I mean, there are 5 fire galleys here total hit in this dock, and to my eyes this is just a waste of wood, honestly. Sonder is having success on land though, with massing towers and the early scouting pays off as well to see where Daves might expand to. There's stones here, there's golds here, so Sonder has some idea of what's going on here. Daves with the preemptive or with the defensive tower here now against Sonder with only 2 villagers three villagers building here. With Castle Age in though, opens up the opportunity for siege or some other kinds of units push here, maybe even a castle drop. Sonder with 560 stone, only missing 100 stone now to be able to drop a castle. Somehow keeps this dock alive and going into the fire galleys now, but finally the fire galleys of Daves are able to take out the repair villagers, and this dock will probably not be able to produce more than that 1 fire galley before going down now. 47 to 33 Daves with a serious eco lead here in the villagers and fish department, so taking water certainly paid off. Did lag behind a little bit to the cast stage because of the wood and gold investment into the water units, I think. 720 stone now for the Sonder, could absolutely drop a castle now. Might want to, I think he's going to take out this tower and then use his own towers as protection for the villagers dropping a castle. Here we go, Sonder making use of the fact that Dave's wasn't paying attention to his army over here and almost got the free kill on the 1 fire galley here, but the dock finally goes down, so Sonder is for now left completely without a dock. Here comes the castle. Let's see. Daves with the defensive tower here now. I'm not sure that's going to be enough here, because Sonder has a huge commitment to this castle here with 12 villagers building it. I mean, the tower will likely go up, but it will not be enough to deny the castle from going up. It will, however, become subject to castle fire here. I like the castle placement on Sonder though. It denies this TC completely, denies stones and golds of the Mongols player as well. So granted, Daves has the villager lead. He is more than 10 villagers ahead here, 15 total I think. But both TCs actually being denied by 1 castle here, which is arguably kind of huge of the Sonder here now, committing to stone still, going for the unique unit to Chukonu, no with Bodkin because the towers and castles have Bodkin arrow now. No upgrades aside from that. Siege push in progress as well. We're going to bring some mangonels to the field. While Dave's still has water control, but very little presence on land. 6 military, that's all water for Dave's. I think Daves is doing a good job as relocating here. It didn't really buckle under the pressure of the early towers all that much. Of course, it delayed Dave's uptime quite a bit, and now also having 2 TCs idle to a castle drop, but still access to gold, access to wood and food over here. All in all, doesn't look too bad yet, although the food situation looks a bit scarce. Daves is making use of the water control, going into more efficient ships to have consistent food income. I think what Sonder needs here now is some mobility option, like some light cab or knights or something to raid the land economy. Woodlines extremely exposed, towers of course take map control as well, but you can't move around the towers. And this is a slow but deadly push from the Sonder, but with some more mobility. Chukonu fine as well, of course, but they're not really exactly quick, so. Let's see here if Sonder can get some kills. Whereas Daves is going into the Knights here, but they only have +1 defense, so I think the Chukonu with their faster firing rate still should do okay here. Machine gun archers. Oh no, run, villagers! They don't seem too easily scared here. They found a place in the fog of war Sonder though, so they're actually quite fine. The score's deceivingly similar here. I think that's because Daves has a lot more villagers overall, and yeah. Chukonu wreck Cavia exactly, and especially when they only have +1 defense. Just passing? No. Look at the mining camp! Look, villagers! Hey, how? Why? What? Yeah, he sees them. Sonder sees them. I hope. Mongols could have gone for crossbow here. Yeah, they could. Crossbows should be efficient. I guess Chukonu, because the Chukonu have they fire fast, but they have a longer reload time, so crossbows fire more consistently, you'd say. It's another castle drop from the Sonder here, going to deny this TC, I think, because the castle has Bodkin Arrow. It might reach the stone here as well, as Daves is going full cav here now against Sonder. But look at all the red on the map here. Sonder really assuming control and not allowing Daves to easily expand here. Losing water early hasn't been that much of a deal for the Sonder here, playing this very solid on land. Villager numbers still much higher for Daves here, so kudos to Daves for keeping that consistent production. But castles are really tough to deal with in the castle age, so castle drops like this really cripple your economy a lot and gets you idled quite a bit. Most of the military of Daves is also still on water, I think, so those numbers are a bit deceiving as well. It's a great escape over here, running under tower fire to save their lives. I wonder where Daves is going now. He has some presence over here, so again he's migrating and doing a good job at that. Might look at the score and think that, yeah, hey, we're not that far apart. Also, Daves has some mobility in the knights here, could easily try and get some raids in on Sonder's economy, like the golds over here, for example, or the wood lines. Or even go for the Mangudai if you have the stone to get to that eventually. another TC about to go down for Daves here. Sonder now with a 5,000 score lead and pushing with Siege and Shugonu basically everywhere here. Let's see the Sonder's point of view here. Hasn't really found the escape here, and that's something to think about. You want that mobile option like scouts, like Cav, Knights on Nomad, because of things like this, because if you have the mobility and can scout these areas, then you'd have an easier time hunting down your enemy and finishing them off. TC is down, Daves is also down in villagers now, almost to the level of Sonder here. Sonder is with 2 TCs and not quite producing right now, and actually pretty idled here, but did manage to... Okay, looked like he had trapped the knights here, but that was false alert. There was an opening over here. Probably some failed quick walls as the knights ran in. 39 to 11 military though. Sonder with Jugonu presence everywhere and only needs to find the location of the expansion to Daves yet again. Let's look at how Sonder is spreading out everywhere. 2 Jugonu here, towers here obviously have been there all the time. Mangonels, castles. By now there's not really many places the enemy can be right now. I think Sonder knows this. He wants to deal with the small expansions first, and then should be knowing them by now that Daves has to be up here. Villager counts even now for the players, but Sonder is with 2 TCs and consistently producing, so Sonder is now going to take the villager lead here as this game moves on. More stables going up for Daves, but the overall economy, it supports stables production actually, and stone count is there for a castle for Daves as well, so you could actually stabilize a bit here with a castle like semi on the hill here or something. Fantastic timing of the Sonder's Jugonu here now. Here come the Rams as well. I think this castle is going to be denied. Yeah, exactly. Dave sees the collected army here, tries for... no. Sonder comes with a counter castle as well, and no way back for Dave's now being down to 50 villagers. Relocating, all the red on the map here just shows the map control that Sonder has on land here. So overall score much higher for the Sonder in the end. KD a whooping 63 to 21. That's pretty impressive actually. Food and wood collected, there we go, is higher for Daves. Food could be because of the fish that were actually never threatened. And uptime's pretty similar here, so that's not the deciding factor here really. It's more the way that Sonder is taking map control, spreading out the armies, dropping castles. Yeah, Sonder being a seasoned veteran for Nomad starts. Updating the score here, and we'll dive into the next game. Next game will be on Dave's home map. The civilizations will be reversed, and we will see pilgrims for this one. Interesting. So pilgrims, you start with a transport ship, you start on a little island, and preferably you want to expand to the main island as soon as possible, because this is where all the golds, woods, whatever resource you need are. You have a little bit on your starting island, so you could justify dropping your TC here. But that's not the most common play. You see Sonder here immediately bringing the transport ship in and will be going for the mainland. I've never seen this map. It's in the custom maps of the Definitive Edition, and I think it's been featured in some T90 community games and these kinds of things as well. But yeah, Pilgrims. Not Nomad this time around, but Pilgrims. You wanna start your pilgrimage and go for the mainland here, as the Sonder is doing, and also Dave's is in the north, whereas Sonder is more in the middle-ish. I honestly don't watch T90 that often. Actually, me neither, not that much, but he's the only caster I've seen using this map. But yeah, could be a reason why it's not being played all that often. Who knows? But I think it's given us some good games so far from this tournament. Almost more in the style of epic fails than great games, but still enjoyable. Dave's finding quite a few geese and bringing in the sheep with transport ships here. They're starting, or their thesis again, somewhat close here. Sonder is going to bring in the last few builders as well. What you see sometimes on Pilgrims is that the players leave one builder behind and they dock around their starting island to have the docks kind of secured at home. Daves could actually snag those sheep if he scouts and converts them. So yeah, there's going to be a battle for water control here for sure, because there's so much fish to be taken on the sea. And then there's the huge land area to be contested later on. I think now, for the sake of progress, we'll be moving on here. The villager count is 3 more for Daves. That's because Daves is Chinese, and instantly gets three villagers spawning by the TC when the TC is completely built. On regular land maps, Chinese get those villagers immediately, of course, but on Nomad you need to build the TC first. That's a nerf they introduced with the Definitive Edition, so that Chinese wouldn't be so overpowered for Nomad starts having extra villagers to scout with or build with or whatnot. Seems to be some extra wolves on this map as well, because this very unlucky villager now ran into not just 1 but 2 wolves here. And yeah, Daves gets kind of unlucky here. 2 dogs for the Sonder, is at 18 population now. None of the players pretty close to clicking up. Hey, hello Veggie Chops. Nice to see you stopping by. I'm casting my Nomad Start only tournament here. This is the second semi-final, which is cast from recorded games, but right after that we'll have the live set of the finals. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be a best of 5 actually, in the end, and not best of 3 like the tournament has been otherwise. So I'm currently on a bit of fast forward here, simply because Nomad starts, they are kind of slow. You need to get the TC up, you need to get the eco rolling, and then once we get to the feudal age, we'll be seeing some action on water and these kinds of things. Not really any military presence on land for either player just yet either. I mean, you could probably justify going for some kind of rush play on land instead of dropping 3 docks like Sondre is doing here. But they both want to boost their food incomes and set up nicely for what's probably more a fast castle approach here. A little bit of a run-in over here, and some quick calls of Sonder to save the woman over here. I think she was just mainly scouting over here. Village is in, Sonder immediately queuing fire galleys of 2 docks here. Let's look at Dave's. He's dropping his 2nd dock just now. Going to fall behind in numbers here. Might risk losing some fish and water control now, because Sonder is already with triple dock fire galley production here. So let's see where these, yep, they just completed. So they're definitely going for the water control here. Should be going straight for the fish, I'd assume. Even takes down the transport, I like that. Then there's no escape for these villagers. there's Fire Guys from Dave's as well, is repairing a bit here, so that's actually a fight that Sonder is going to lose. In the meantime, Sonder is focusing down some enemy fish though, so the villager counts are going to be crippled for Dave's here. It's going to fall behind a little bit now. A little bit of a wall off to the side there. Sonder with the outpost here and chilling woman over here, getting housed from the production situation here, losing. So I think Sonder almost lost some fish there as well, but all in all 5-2 military. This is Sonder's battle to win on water for now. Good recognition from the Dave to see the sheer number of ships being that high for the Sonder, going for a third dock as well, so even trying to even it out. We have both players now with triple dock production of the army. But the micro on water takes its toll on other tasks at land. We have 3 villagers chilling out here for Dave's, and Sonder with 5 idols as well here and there, so this is where the focus is at right now. So what's going on land, dropping some houses, still an opening to the side here. I think Dave's is in the process of plugging that. Yes, he is indeed. So he's going to try and play it safe on land here to keep Sonder out. This looks like a gap, but it's not really between the trees here. Sonder going to stone again now, wants to think about these towers. I think a tower here should range its gold, so that would absolutely be a way to take map control. 8-2 is the military count now, that should be all water, so Sonder in a great spot on water now to secure the fish. And look at the fish count here. Dave's doesn't have any fish at all, whereas Sonder has 7 active fishing ships, so that's kind of a huge eco difference on the water there. Yet another dock going up for the Sonder. So Sonder clearly knows this map and its advantages, wants to make use of all these deep fish here, the huge patches, some of them in with 350 food here. Do you have any aggression on land yet? Just houses just walling off here. I feel like Sonder could almost consider tasking some builders to chop this wood here, so you have a passage through and could go for the surprise attack here. This area is begging to be towered as well, so that's something Sonder could do with the shore fisher woman here. And yeah, it's not wall over here, so should still be potential for entry for Sonder on the left hand side. Full control on water now by far. Almost looks like an over investment of the Sonder here now, but once the docks are out, there's not much Daves can do, of course. So good engagements by Daves here, actually, but still the numbers are more convincing for Sonder here. He's going to clean this up, and all these 3 docks on fire are eventually going to go down. Daves, however, is on the way to the castle age, as is Sonder, so the difference isn't that huge, 15% only. Nice tower placement from the Sonder though to deny his gold of Daves, and Daves will relocate. However, Daves doesn't have access to gold anywhere now, except from maybe on land here. That's what he's doing. He's going to go for the gold here, but that's only 2 villagers. That's very limited potential as well. And Sonder could just add a war galley in the castle age, and these guys are not allowed to mine at all. Perfect mining camp. This is a multi-purpose mining camp if I've ever seen. It's actually, well, it's 2 tiles to the stone though, so that's suboptimal there, but yeah, got to dig that one. Nice wall off from Dave's here as well, just in case Sonder should bring anything to the table. Galleys with limited damage potential here now, but I think you could stay here and still reach a bit of the wood choppers. There's some annoying small idle time here, and when you go into War Galley you'd have a longer range, you'd have a 5+2 range, and then suddenly it gets easier to contest the economy here. Only one dock left for Dave's, did not redock anywhere either. Whereas Sonder is dropping his 5th dock. He's just... he's never gonna let go of water here, that's for sure. Woodline is officially lost, but the main issue for Dave's here is gold income. Scores are less than uplifting for Dave's here, being more than 1000 score behind. But now with this town center, at least secures this gold and opts for some siege here to probably try and push Sonder's TC and economy here. If he knows about it, that is. Yeah, probably does. Is indeed a Magnonal going to go down here most likely and contest the eco over here. Dave's is down 5 villagers though and seems to struggle a bit more with the economy here as compared to Sonder as well. Ah, okay, so he wants to deal with the tower, that makes sense actually. Sonder is extending the economy as well, now dropping the 2nd town center. Assumes control of the shoreline here, and looks like Sonder is trying to get Dave's housed here, but that's not gonna happen anytime soon, as we can see from the numbers. War Galley on the way, that's going to give Sonder even more damage output on water, and to have the range to contest these villagers on the middle island here. Are we gonna see a transport? Oh, we're gonna see a Knight's Raid from transports. Transport masterpiece. Careening is not in. I was gonna say it's in, but only 5 knights. Might be just enough to get some great raids in over here though. Let's see. What's Dave's reaction will be to this? Dave's does not have a barracks, so he cannot make pikes against the knights that come to raid now. So this could be a crucial moment for the Sonder here to get these raids in. Not going to help just battering away at the blacksmith, of course. There we go. +1 is in, forcing lots of idle time of Dave's here. Dave's doesn't have a response to this. Does have loom. But there's the GG. Dave's has lost water, he's subject to some night raids on land here and doesn't really have a response because Dave's doesn't even have any barracks yet. And Dave says, Hello Lykke i finalen. Hello Lykke i finalen, which means good luck in the finals. And the finals is going to start whenever the players want to and are ready, and that's going to be between the Sonder and Lower D. You can host the room now. Yeah, that's good. Good to hear.